students suspended for indulging in bus day violence. Students were arrested last week.
College students indulged in stone pelting. Several policemen were injured. Several vehicles were damaged.
Police Lucky charged public in Trichy for staging a road roko. Angry public were agitating after a bus accident killed a vegetable vendor. Karnataka to meet prominent candidates for the Sankarankozhil by-elections, likely to finalize DMK's candidate by Friday. Owning a land near the metro rail site might just prove to be a costly affair. Centre asking government to explore the option of imposing tax on land deals near the projects. Valentine's Day creates yet another trend. Detectives turn busy left, right and centre as couples try to measure the loyalty factor.
On in the court for divorce. They would like to know whether on Valentine's Day they meet somebody, I know specifically.
Late evening, you are watching News Tonight with me, Linda Hercules. A lot has been happening both locally and internationally, and we will take you through all of that within the next 30 minutes. But first, a quick look at the national headlines. In a dramatic match, India versus Sri Lanka, the match ends in a tie. 3 blasts hit Bangkok. 5 people have been injured, including an Iranian man. Reports say he was a bomber. The Iran links between the attacks in Delhi and Bangkok. The bomber in Bangkok could be Iranian. Israel points fingers at Tehran for Delhi attack. Chidambaram confirms yesterday's blast on Israeli diplomat's car was a terror attack. Says the attack was carried out by a well-trained bomber. The Israeli ambassador speaks to NDTV and blames Iran for the blast, saying no doubt they did it. 2611 terrorist Ajmal Kasab pleads to Supreme Court to commute his death sentence to life. The Adelaide ODI between India versus Sri Lanka ended in a tie. India needed 237 runs to win the match but ended at 236 for 9 in 50 overs. Here are all the highlights from that cracker of a match.
Vinay Kumar struck off the second ball of the match. Upul Tharanga gone for his 13th duck. Tilakratne Dilshan tried to swing the momentum Sri Lanka's way after they had chosen to bat first. Irfan Pathan, playing his first match of the series, struck soon after. Dilshan gone for 16 with the Lankans at 28 for 2.
Will do wonders to his confidence. Comebacks are never easy.
A 51-run stand between Dinesh Chandimal and Kumar Sangakkara steadied the Lankan innings. R. Ashwin, looking much more confident against the Lankans as opposed to the Aussies, struck in his third over. Sanga gone for 31. Then came the rebuilding act. Chandimal and Jayawardene put on 94 to get Sri Lanka back in the game. Chandimal looked like the best batsman for the Lankans as he brought up his half-century. But once the batting power play was taken, things went haywire. Jayawardene was the first to go for 43. India's fielding was top-notch once again. Rohit Sharma running out Chandimal for 81. Sri Lanka would lose 3 wickets for 18 runs in the power play. India managed to restrict Sri Lanka to 236 for 9, the Islanders scoring just 50 in the last 10 overs. Chasing a modest total of 237, India lost Sachin early. The master gone for 15.
Good healthy edge to Sangakkara.
Virat Kohli also fell for 15, India slumping to 61 for 2 in 14 overs. 15 seemed to be the unlucky number for the Indian batsman on the day. Rohit Sharma, the third one to be dismissed for that score. With the required run rate climbing, Thisara Pereira dropping MS Dhoni on 10 turned out to be a costly mistake. Dhoni and Gambhir put together a much-needed 60-run stand, with Gambhir notching up another 50. It was an error in judgment by Dhoni that ended that partnership. Gambhir ran out on 91.
He's gone. He is gone.
Captain Cool was there, but he kept running out of partners as India inched closer to the target. India needed 24 in the last 2 overs, and Angelo Matthews helped the world champions out. Irfan Pathan hitting a crucial 6 to reduce the equation to 9 of 6. It eventually came down to 4 off the last ball. MSD did connect well, but the boundary was denied. 3 runs off the last ball as the match ended in a dramatic tie.
And MS Dhoni picked up his 16th Man of the Match award, but the skipper himself said it was an error in judgment that he made that possibly denied India a win.
I think that wrong call really cost us the game. I called the wrong one to Gautam and he got run out after that. It was difficult for the new batsman coming in because there was no real pace on the wicket, and so basically it made it very difficult to rotate. You can play a big stroke in between, but if you are chasing, then you have in mind that if you play a big stroke and if a wicket falls, there was not really anyone behind you who can bat really well.
As far as the Lankans are concerned, the tie was pretty much a gift, considering India should have ideally won the match.
I think, when you have MS, batting through the innings, it's always going to be a tough one. I mean, we made so many mistakes, but still, to get 2 points, I think, I'm be happy with that.
Meanwhile, the 30th over of the Indian innings has hit the headlines, and that's because it turned out to be a 5-ball over. The over in which Lasith Malinga, it was a 1-ball shot by Lasith Malinga. One could argue that the umpire's error in calling the over did indirectly make a difference to the final result. However, MS Dhoni did not want to get started on another controversy and said things could not be changed now.
Yeah, Duncan told me about it. There was a 5-ball over. In the past, what we have seen is, the third umpire interferes and, you have to come back and ball that ball. Usually that's what has happened to us also. It didn't happen in this game. Fair enough, nothing much can be done now. I don't know, because, you could have, a dot ball could have happened, so it always happens in cricket, so maybe it would have been a dot ball.
And taking us away from the sports highlights, 12 Pachepa college students were suspended by their college management. They had been arrested by the Chennai police last week for indulging in violence during the bus day celebrations. Denied permission to celebrate their bus day, nearly 200 students from the college had gone on a rampage on Thursday afternoon. They pelted stones at police, injuring 7 people, including 6 policemen. Finally, the police entered the college and dispersed the mob. This is the 3rd instance of violence related to bus day in the city this month.
The city police have very clearly warned the college students in Chennai not to indulge in bus day celebration. In fact, when we spoke to MTC drivers, they very clearly say that when they refuse to allot bus for bus day celebration, the college students forcibly take away the buses, thereby creating a lot of trouble to the people. In fact, they indulge in eve-teasing activities as well. And similarly, 4 days ago, when the Pachepas College students wanted to celebrate the bus day, the police objected. After which the college students indulged in stone pelting, several policemen were injured, several vehicles were damaged, based on which the police arrested 12 college students and registered them under various sections of the Indian Penal Code and lodged them at the Pudel prison. Also, the police wrote a letter to the college management. Based on that letter, the college management have taken action against the 12 college students who indulged in violence.
Moving on, tension prevailed for a while at Bhimanagar area in the city today. A 55-year-old vegetable vendor was killed on the spot and 3 others, including a 7-year-old boy, were injured when a private bus plowing into a crowd at the bus stop there. And when the people protested against it, the police had no other go than to resort to a lathi charge. The injured were admitted to 2 separate hospitals in the city. The agitators, mostly local residents, pelted stones in which windscreens of the bus was totally damaged. To prevent the situation from going out of control, the police resorted to lathi charge, chased the protesters and restored normalcy. Over to what's making news on the political front. As part of preparing for the Sankarankoil by-poll, DMK chief M. Karunanidhi will analyze his party's prospects with ticket aspirants on Friday. Karunanidhi will meet those who had applied to contest the election on February 17th and discuss the prevailing conditions in the constituency and DMK's victory prospects. The by-poll for Sankarankoil was necessitated following the death of AIADMK Minister C. Karupasamy last year. AIADMK Supremo J. Jayalalitha has nominated V. Muthuselvi, chairperson of Sankarankoil municipality, as her party candidate. The MDMK has also announced it will contest the by-election. The Election Commission, however, is yet to announce the poll schedule. Moving on, if you live close to the metro corridors in the country, you could soon end up paying more tax, with the centre asking state governments to explore the option of imposing dedicated tax as part of innovative methods to finance such modern transport projects. The Union Urban Development Ministry has written letters to the state governments seeking their opinion on levying additional taxes on land transactions near the metro corridors, and a few states like Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh have replied in the positive. The metro authorities say that the tax would be a nominal amount and it is inevitable. Apparently, the Delhi Metro is yet to repay its loan amount. More updates coming your way, but after a short break.